Good morning. Just going to give it a minute and see if we get some people online. In the meantime, let me put some music on. Let's see. How's everybody doing? I pulled a card just to kind of get this started today, and I got the Untamed, which I love because this is a card about freeing ourselves from fear-based thinking and just the whole shift I think that's going on right now that's really being triggered for us to take a look at, because there's been no better time than now to see who's sort of like, and this is not a judgment, but just in general, like if we're going to choose fear, if we're going to choose, what we're being sort of conditioned to believe, or if we're going to start to shift our mind. So I'm going to just put this aside, and I'm going to pull a few other cards first before I start talking. So let's just see. Well, thank you. Let's see what comes up. I think I'm going to use, let's see. I don't know which deck. I just finished with a client, so I have some stuff out, but I don't have a lot of space, so let's see what happens here. These over there. Hi. I don't know which deck I want to start with. Let's see. Let me tune in and see what's calling me. I think I'm going to start with this Tarot of the Spirit. I'm going to use these. Let's see what comes through. But the theme is definitely about this freedom from, I said both the times that I looked at the clock that I pulled this card up, it was 1:11 and 2:22. So this is a really, really important message. Hi, everybody. But let's get into this. Let's see what comes up from the Tarot of the Spirit. Write your numbers exactly. Yeah, because we do have a choice right now. Like if you tune in to what's going on sort of collectively, you might feel a lot of fear. And, we get to choose what we put our energy towards. And that's not to deny anyone's experience. It's to just understand how powerful we are and how much we can create a different reality that isn't based in fear. It's based in love and empowerment. Let's see what we get from the tarot. Oop, what's this? I'm getting power reverse. What did I just say? If you don't see your own power, that's the path. Part of spiritual awakening is recognizing how powerful we are, but power is misunderstood because a lot of times we equate power with pain and suffering and abuse. But that doesn't necessarily, yes, that happens, but we're here to recognize our power and use it to better ourselves and the world, not to take advantage of people or to misuse our power, and the more that we understand our own power and start to reframe it in a way that isn't fear-based, then things are going to shift for the whole. It heals the distorted, the sort of wounded masculine energy that unfortunately right now is more dominant. So power reversed. What else? That's why this card came up first, the Untamed, because people are going to think you're wild and crazy if you get off the bandwagon of, fear. But that's their choice. You have a choice too. What else? Mother of so this is the Queen of Swords, and this is coming reversed. At a certain point, we have to decide: do you want to fit in, or do you want to feel free? Because if you want to be free, you're not going to fit in with the general society right now. You're not. People will get really triggered, probably be very judgmental or whatever. but that's their, we all have a choice, and you can choose. I'm going to read to you more about that card because I think that Untamed is very important. We are getting Knight of Wands upright. Let's get one more. Yeah, this is the Nine of Swords. That's the fear. That's the fear and anxiety of sticking out, being different, choosing happiness when other people are choosing fear. To each their own. We're getting the Page of Cups under here, Sister of Water. Look, the road looks long and winding, and it might be, but you don't have to suffer. All right, I do kind of want to go into this card first. I feel like this is actually really important. This is going to be the whole theme here. So let's see. My glasses. The Untamed is linked with the goddess Freya in this particular deck, who's also sort of linked into the feminine power, like sensual power, our feminine life force, sensual nature. It says to be untamed is to be true to oneself without condition. It's freedom, but it's not always easy. There are many belief systems, some of which are considered to be essential and beyond question in mainstream human society, which would mark an untamed spirit as a dangerous and suspicious creature, even though that untamed spirit serves unconditional love. Yet to be untamed is the only way to discover who you are and live your divine destiny. Behind the clothing, the social masks, and the stories you tell yourself or that others are telling you, there's a beautiful, wild, divine creature that wants out. Uncage that divinity and watch. Uncage that divinity. It looks like there is literally a cage here. It says the screen. And watch your wild beauty emerge as you and your world transform through raw grace. It says one of the most exciting, terrifying, liberating, and to those who live in fear, threatening thresholds you'll go through on the spiritual path is to unplug from mass conditioning. Here we go. It says, in the same way you might imagine a cult member having to deprogram their mind as they exit the cult and rejoin normal society, there will be a point on the spiritual path where you realize that normal society is actually trapped in a cult-like mindset of its own, and the freedom-loving rebel in you wants out. Are you guys feeling this? Because I most certainly know this to be true. You can have your freedom, but you'll need courage. You'll go through loss. Admittedly, it's loss of what would ultimately suffocate your soul, but that might include people or places or things to which you've become attached. You may know that it's the right thing to do to move on, and yet you'll need to grieve the loss. You'll spend some time in between worlds where you feel like you're not quite in the past and you're not quite in your new life yet either. You may meet some travel companions, but they won't necessarily feel like family. In fact, you might feel spiritually orphaned, lost, or alone. The home that you left wasn't right for you, but now you're homeless and doesn't seem to be right either. It's true. And there is this period, this transition period between worlds. I'm in it too. You're between worlds. You're leaving behind this mass conditioning of fear, because the cult that mainstream society, cult, so to speak, is fear. It's fear. It's choosing fear. It's choosing disempowerment. It's giving permission to other people to, it's giving away our power. That's why power was the first one reversed. So it says, you'll eventually be strong enough to free yourself from the conditioning and belief systems that once hampered your heart and diminished your dreams. In due course, this deprogramming will shift to reprogramming. Let's fast forward here. It says, put simply, don't give up until you find this new home, this new way of being. It says your instincts will guide you to do the same as you heal the wounds inflicted upon your body and mind by fear-based societal conditioning. Don't allow fear-based reality to temper your spirit, your heart, or dull your dreams. There are so many people who will tell you no. It's true. Call you crazy and say that you're living in a dream world. This is what they need to believe because your increasing aliveness is too much for them still. They aren't ready for it. What they say and believe is about them, not you or your reality. Part of your unplugging process necessarily involves reclaiming the power, which is why this was coming out reversed, that you've given to any other person to hold an opinion that means more to you than the truths of your own heart. Also know that part of the conditioning and the lies that exist within mainstream culture is that life within that system is safer and easier. This is completely untrue. When you learn to live wild and true, you'll see that it's so much easier for the universe to assist uplift, inspire, and support you when you aren't cowering in fear, trying to prevent life from reaching you. If you feel you or your life is out of control, or you feel you want change, but everyone thinks you're crazy, believe in yourself anyway. Know that your wild spirit is being given an empowerment from the universal goddess of life to become untamed. Hell yeah. It says, I choose of my own free will through this and any lifetime and through all layers of my entire being to forgive and release myself from fear-based conditioning. I choose freedom, divinity, and unconditional trust in life. Through divine empowerment and unconditional love, so be it. You got to really ask yourself what you're afraid of, because having this kind of awakening right now, there's a reason why you're here right now on this planet. You have to ask yourself why you give permission for your power to leak from your system, so to speak. These are all metaphors, but you get what I mean. Everything that's happening that's disempowering us in one way or another, it's like we're giving permission for that to happen. And I'm talking about like from a higher perspective. Because if you get stuck in just the physical, because we live in a world of duality, it's paradoxes, it's full of paradoxes. So it's not like we're denying the experience of anybody. At the same time, we're each individually here to also create and manifest our reality. So if you get too caught up in anything and it becomes rigid, you're going to feel stuck. But ultimately what this is saying is if you want to unplug from the mass conditioning, which is really reaching an all-time high of mania right now, so much information coming at us, if you choose to receive it. I don't receive a lot of it because it just doesn't resonate. I mean, you don't have to live in a bubble, but you can certainly choose what you consume. You can decide what resonates and what doesn't. You can decide what you take in and what doesn't serve you. You do have that power. So I feel that the Queen of Swords here in the reverse with power reverse is saying that it's time to use your discernment about where you're giving your power away and why. Because you have to ask yourself, even when you feel shitty and disempowered, you're allowing it to happen. So you have to ask yourself, what am I getting from this? Why am I giving permission for this to happen? Why am I giving my energy away? Why am I allowing my energy to go to places where I can't receive it back? Why am I, whatever it is in your life? Because the Queen of Swords reversed is about, needing to use your discernment, I feel strongly. Because she is the sort of queen of clear decision making and of perceptiveness and neutrality. But in the reverse, it could be that there are situations that you need to look at more neutrally, less emotionally. Yeah. There you go. Tanya said, I give my power away to my Queen of Swords in the reverse, my mom. And so then you have to ask yourself, why am I giving my power to my mother? Why am I doing this? What am I getting from this? Because you're getting something from it. And sometimes we give our power away because we want someone's attention. Not the best way to do it, but definitely there is a reason for everything, or we wouldn't do it. So even when it's unhealthy, even when it's dysfunctional, and even when it's hurting us, we still participate in these things because we are getting something from it. Sometimes people be like, why would those two people be in that relationship when they're both miserable? Because they're getting something from it. And what they're getting from it is outweighing what they're not. And that's just how it is, until we make new choices. So yeah, taking full responsibility for your life is what this reading is all about. Because ultimately, unplugging from mass conditioning also means that you're saying to yourself and to the universe, I'm taking full responsibility. Because when you're in your power, that's what it means. It means you're taking 100% accountability for what's going on in your life, for the choices that you're making, for how you feel. Can't control everything. We can't control everything around us. The only thing that we can control is how we perceive life and how we react to what's happening. And when you start to take full responsibility, guess what? It's going to trigger the people that don't want to. And that's when it requires courage to unplug. And I know because I'm going through it too. And guaranteed you're going to trigger people, but guaranteed you're also going to feel better. And you have to choose, why am I giving my power away? If you're doing that, what you're getting is some validation from other people, but you're suffering, but you don't feel good, but you feel like your life is spiraling out of control, Then you have to ask yourself, why do I want people's approval more than I want to feel good? Why do I want people's validation more than I want to make my own choices and trust myself and my own truth? So the Knight of Wands is about rapid movement forward, but then we've got this fear, this scream, this Nine of Swords energy, this anxiety and fear. Let's get one on this Knight of Wands. What's this about? It's like the only way out is through. Nine of Fire reversed. So it says the Eye of Fire. This is the Nine of Wands. It's coming reversed. Why? The Emperor. Another card about your power. To embrace your power. You have to ask yourself too, why are you afraid of your own power? That's a pretty deep question. I mean, you could really go there. But ask yourself, like, why are you afraid to be powerful? What about being powerful scares you? Sometimes it is scary for people to have to be in their power, because then it means that you do have to make choices and make decisions. And then those decisions have consequences sometimes. And when you're not blaming other people for your life circumstances, and you're not able to blame other people for how you feel, there is a level of responsibility that comes with that. And not everybody wants that responsibility. And so they diminish themselves. So they choose to give their power away, because then they can blame everyone else. Ask yourself, why am I afraid to be powerful? Are you afraid that you'll be ostracized, that people will reject you? Are you afraid that you'll be abandoned? Are you afraid that you won't fit in? You might not for a time. But again, do you want to feel better? Do you want to be in your power or not? Do you prefer life plugged in to what other people tell you is right, or what the mainstream is doing? Or do you want to break free from the herd mentality and start to make your own choices? A big part of ascension, to me, the word ascension, is becoming a free thinker, becoming sovereign. Do you know what sovereign means? Free in your own power, in your own truth, to make your own decisions. So let's see. Let's get a message from here. Right. Yeah, like Tanya's talking about this, like, yes, I agree. And that will continue to happen until you make a new choice. Everything's reflecting us back to us. If people think that this like witch hunt of like finding someone to blame for what's going on in the world is going to fix anything, it's not, because what we're doing is projecting our own shadow onto other people and saying like, oh, we're not a part of this, what's going on right now collectively. Every single one of us is playing a part in this, whether we like it or not. So, because we're collective consciousness, we're not separate ultimately. So be the change. The cloak. Let's get two of these. The cloak and fire and ice. Oh, what a perfect card to come out. This is about, sorry, I keep thinking someone's going to come in my room. Fire and ice is about holding the polarity of opposites, of like holding that tension of dark and light, of, good and bad, even though it's not that, but people like to say things like that. And that's what I was just talking about. We live in a world of duality, which means we have to learn how to hold the tension of opposites. That's just being on earth. And so if we're judging something as good and something as bad, and then we're trying to separate ourselves from one aspect, we can't, because we're part of the whole. Everything is connected. And so if you've been trying to hide from parts of yourself, and the way that you do that is by criticizing other people, or pointing the finger at, like, I don't know, like right now everyone's pointing the finger at the president, right? Like, oh, it's his fault that we're in this. It's just an example of how we attempt to separate ourselves. Sarah says, a question I know I fear facing is what would happen when I can't defer to authority anymore? Right, when I can't lean on others for advice because no one has more authority over my life and choices. It's a great thing to ponder. There's so many reasons why we're afraid to be in our power. And so you got to ask yourself those questions. It's an excellent question that I would sit and meditate with and ponder, and ask your higher self for guidance on that. Like, where is that fear coming from? Why are you afraid to make your own decisions? Why are we afraid to make a choice and be wrong? Who cares? You can make a new choice. Yes, it is easier to blame people. And that's why we're in the situation that we're in the world right now, because everyone's trying to point the finger at somebody else for why the world is in the state that it's in. And every single person here played a role in it, why it is the way that it is right now. So the only way that we can make a change is to start to take full responsibility for ourselves and stop pointing the finger. So on a micro level, that looks like in your life where you blame other people for feeling bad, for things not going well, for obstacles, challenges, and adversities. Like if you're trying to blame someone else for those, that's the role that you're playing and why the world is looking the way that it's looking right now. And you can change it by starting to make new choices, more empowered ones. And again, getting to the root of why you don't want to be powerful, why you're afraid. So that's a great question, Sarah. And I'm sure you're not the only one that's feeling that way. So yeah, the cloak is saying that you've been maybe trying to, again, hide from certain maybe aspects of yourself, hide from parts that make you uncomfortable. This might also look like isolating yourself from other people, because sometimes it's more challenging to speak our truth to other people and have like those kinds of boundaries that are impermeable, like where like the energy can still flow, versus like not having, instead of like creating an impermeable boundary where it's like, listen, this is like my no, but it's not like I'm building walls. Sometimes we just isolate ourselves, or we ghost, or we disappear, or we go in silent mode because it feels easier maybe to hide than to be present right now, even when we're triggering people. And I promise you, there's a really, really big part, I feel, of like right now, a lot of people that are on like quote unquote a spiritual path, if you want to say, call it something, is that you got to start to get comfortable with other people being uncomfortable with your growth. It just is what it is. It's going to happen. I promise. Promise, guarantee. All my money down. There will be people around you that are not going to like you shifting into a new mindset. I see it in a very simple way of like, the happier I am or the more powerful I feel, I lose followers or I lose views or whatever. Like, but it doesn't matter. Who cares? None of that stuff matters. It's just, oh, that's cool. Someone was saying they were doing a workout about power today. There's a little synchronicity. Yeah, it doesn't matter if other people don't like it. Like ultimately, you just have to follow your truth. But every insecurity that you have will get triggered, because all the ways that we want to belong and we want to like be part of something. If you're shifting from like a fear-based reality to like a reality based in more love, and the general population is not on board with that yet, then there will be a sense maybe of feeling lonely or like you don't belong. You got to make a choice. Like, what do you want? You know what I mean? You will find people that you'll resonate with. It may not look the way that you want it to look, but you're not alone in this. I mean, we're all doing this. Like everyone that's tuned in right now, we're all on the same road. We're all doing this in our own unique way. But ultimately, if you've been hiding because you've been afraid to maybe talk about some of these shifts and to actually live it and be proud to be changing and thinking in a new way, but you're afraid that you're going to trigger people around you or that people are going to be critical and judgmental, Spirit is like, come out of the closet because we need you. Like we need more people that are just living in their truth, untamed, not filtering themselves, not censoring to like make people comfortable. That's not what being authentic is about. When you're being authentic, you don't have to be crude, you don't have to be tone deaf, but you certainly don't need to filter your truth so that it makes other people comfortable. Because no matter what you do, whether you try to do it in a nice way or if you just put it all out there, it is guaranteed to turn some people off no matter how you slice it. But then on the flip side, it's going to feel better for you to be authentic, but also it will inspire people, So you just have to get clear, like, why are you doing what you're doing? Ultimately, what I get from all these cards so far is just, where are you trying to relinquish your responsibility in your life, your personal power and your personal responsibility and accountability? Like, where are you relinquishing it? Where are you trying to like not be powerful and sort of like just let life take you and then complain about it, versus like, where do you need to start to make some new choices? And then asking yourself, what am I getting from not making a new choice? Because you're getting something. So weighing out the pros and cons of that is a big part. Let's see. I want to get from this one. I did a pretty long session, so I'm going to wrap it up with these cards here and make this kind of shorter today. Let's see. I'm getting, let me just pull 3 of these and we'll see what they say. Great. I'm getting, it says the artist. It says you hold the infinite power of creation within you, a divine artist, if you want to like create kind of like a metaphor. It says create something beautiful today. You're one with the universe and nature. The eternal light of creation shines through you forever. It is all about creation, you know. You are a creator. So what reality are you creating? Like, what mindset are you creating from, and why? Innocence. It says innocence, purity, joy. You're being encouraged to just be you, like be authentic. It says be a shining light for the world. Expect positive outcomes to flow from your honesty and pure intentions. Like I said, it's easy to put the blame on other people, but we have to remember that when you strip it all away, the illusion, our projections, our perceptions, and everything else, we're all the same. We're all the same. We all go back, you know, when the body is gone and all this shit is over, we're all the same. So, you know, a part of this unity consciousness is that. It's like being able to see that we are all the same at the end of the day, even though you'd be like, no, I'm nothing like that person. I'm nothing like this. I'm nothing like that. It's all an illusion. I mean, when you strip it all away, we're all a soul having a human experience. Can you start to see people through the eyes of love? You won't be able to at first with everyone. You will want to separate yourself from certain people. You will want to create that wall. But separation is an illusion. That's the awakening. Intention. Don't lose sight of your original intention. Check inside your heart to see if the path you're traveling fits in with your original hopes and aspirations. If not, take action, take control, and steer your life back on course. Yeah. Again, intention and choosing to be powerful and to choose that if your life is not going the way that you want it to go, or things, and I don't mean that you can control everything. You can't. You know, life is also happening. We have to learn how to adjust and be flexible. But your intention is really important, because that is what's steering your ship. So it says, if the path you're traveling isn't really in alignment with your deeper desires and with your deeper intentions, then it's time to take back control of your life and start to steer yourself onto the path that's more in alignment with what you really want. And only you can do that. Somebody can't do that for you. It says here, like, expect positive outcomes to flow from not just your honesty, but it says your pure intentions. What's your intention? You know, what are you intending in your life? Because if you think about like God, Jesus, or whatever in the Bible, or I'm not religious at all, but when we talk about like Christ consciousness, we're talking about love. We're talking about love. And so if we want things to change, how can we start to see our life through a lens that's more loving, as opposed to so critical or separate? You know, it's only the ego that wants to separate things. It's only the ego that's like, I'm this, you're that. I'm here, you're there. This is X and that's Y. Everything is interconnected. And we're part of this like big grid that's all connected. And so if you're looking at people through a lens of judgment, then really that's your own self-judgment that wants to be seen. Those are pieces of you that you're disowning. You're like, no, I'm not that. I'm only this. The darkness is birthed from the light. We can't have one without the other. Fire and ice, you know, we live in a world of duality. Oh, I'm glad that my channel's been helpful. Yeah, it's nice to have other people that are, again, on a similar wavelength right now, because things are really there's a lot coming up for people, and most definitely what's going on in the world is a great catalyst. I mean, it's not easy. A lot of people are suffering, and then at the same time, a lot of people are awakening to deeper truths and things that, they need to see more clearly, or making new choices. I mean, all my clients recently are going through a lot of amazing shifts and making big changes in their life, changing direction, moving, all kinds of things, leaving relationships, like all positive changes, actually. So this has been a huge catalyst for people to check back in with your intentions. Like, what do you want in your life? What means the most to you? What are your values? And are your actions aligned with your values? Because if they're not, then get them aligned, and if they're not, ask yourself why. Why are you choosing to not be in alignment? Let's get one more from this deck. Good news, it says. Yeah, I think a lot of people have really shifted timelines, because the second that you choose a new thought, like a new belief system, like your reality starts to immediately shift as well. So it's like you change the radio station, and when you change your frequency, you change your, those things start to shift, boom, your life starts to rearrange and the chess pieces start to move. And so if it's not moving in a direction that you're liking, then you have to check back in with yourself and be like, okay, where do I need to make a new choice? What's out of alignment right now? It says good news is coming your way. Something beautiful is about to manifest. It's time to celebrate all the wonder and beauty in your life. Maybe there is some good news coming. Maybe it's time to, let's see, let's just get, I'm like the queen of clarifying. What's this good news about? Yeah, this is about your vibration changing. Silver vibrations. It says your vibration is being raised to a higher level. You may be feeling that you're in this world, but somehow not of this world. That was how I started the reading today. This is the magic of creation at work in your life. As silver starlight enters your aura, your energy field is strengthened, giving you a clearer connection to spirit and revealing the greater purpose of your life. Ultimately, this card is about shifting your frequency. So again, if you start to make thoughts, what am I talking about? You start to make choices and start to take action from more awareness and from a clearer intention, good things are going to happen. It doesn't mean that everything's always good. It doesn't mean that shit doesn't happen. It does. This is life. You can't control everything, but what you can do is make choices that are more loving and more intentional. Basically, it's not that complicated. I think that we make it a lot more complicated than it has to be. A lot of times. Underneath the deck, I will just show you that this card says, her eye ever open. And I think this is important, so I'm just going to read the beginning of that message. That's Goddess Tara, and then it says Tibetan quartz is the stone. Let's see. So it says, we bring you the empowerment of her eye ever open. The divine protection around you is absolute and complete. Your simple request for the Universal Mother to watch out for you and to protect what has meaning for you allows you to live your life, do your work, and know the most powerful one is caring for your well-being on all levels. You can trust, be free from worry, and remain open to the world with joy in your heart. It says, as you grow spiritually, the reach of your light increases. You become increasingly open and visible to more souls. Do you notice that people have different reactions to the sun? Some worship the sun, and some people absolutely hate it. This is what I was talking about. As you grow spiritually, your light body expands, and then you're able to reach more people. And some people love to sunbathe and lay out there and get a tan, and some people are allergic to the light. And I can guarantee you, this is what I was saying before, that if you follow a path of increasing your energy, your power, and expanding your light body, there will be people that admire you, there will be people that support you, and then there will be people who will not, for their own reasons. And that has to become not a concern, because honestly, it's just not, Some people just are, everyone is where they are. We're not judging people for where they are. We're just understanding that the nature of reality and where we exist is that not everybody is in the same place. Everyone's at their own level of consciousness, right? And all you can do is choose what feels most true to you. That's all that matters. Everything else, it doesn't matter what other people do. But you can be guaranteed there will be people that will want to undermine you. They'll want you to dim your light. They'll want you to be less powerful so they can exist in their disempowered reality and everything else. It just has to become like white noise. It's not stopping you from moving forward. It's not stopping you from opening up. And as you learn to trust more in the higher plan and that you are supported by the universe, even if you don't believe that, even if you can't see it, you can't prove it, you can't quantify it, it doesn't matter. The more that you choose to accept this loving universal support and keep moving forward on your path with your boundaries, with your self-respect, with the love that you have for yourself, but also not being afraid to shine your light, you're going to receive the blessings that come from that. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. I know, I'm living it. If you have fear about being seen, becoming visible, or coming out of the spiritual closet out of concern for what others will think or do, or feel that maybe an unresolved past life issue that you were harmed for your beliefs is coming up, take comfort. It says, this oracle brings you the grace of the Divine Mother's healing intervention. You're meant to overcome this and move trustingly into the light. It is what is meant for you, and she will help you get there. So, yeah. And if you've been asking for protection, like for yourself, like energy protection for you or for somebody that you love, this card also says like that your prayers are being answered, you know? It says if you're wise enough to recognize where her, the Divine Mother, sort of her help is needed, then you're powerful enough to ask for it on behalf of the greater good with compassionate detachment. So even if you're thinking about somebody else that might need a little bit of support right now, you know, if you're asking that it's in the greatest good of everyone involved, then that's all you need to do. You know, you don't have to fear anything. You can also trust that, you know, everybody gets what they need, and bottom line, you know, be the change. So I'm going to end it there because I need to go eat some lunch, but I'm sending everyone lots of love. Thanks for everybody that was here today. And yeah, I've been trying to do these on Thursdays. I just got busy last week with some other stuff. So I will see you guys soon. Oh, I'm putting up a little free handout. A few people asked me about some recommendations for like products with Rose, because I was talking about it in my newsletter. So keep an eye out if you are curious. I put like together like it's like 7 pages PDF of like my favorite products and different recommendations and things like that. That'll be up on the Magdalene manuscript page as like an opt-in, so you can get it, download it there. So look later if you're interested, if you wanted that, or if you're one of the people that asked me, I will be putting that up shortly. I just need to finish it up now. Like, whatever. I need to upload it and stuff onto my site. So other than that, I'm sending you guys lots of love, and I will see you all again soon. Take care.